Hello everyone, it's Kat here from Inky Finger Cat. It's been a wee while since I've done a video. I did release a video on YouTube this week, but it was one that was filmed back in December. I think it was, it might have even been November, probably was November. And it inspired me to turn the camera on again. The other thing that's inspired me is how amazing does my hair look. A hairdresser I've been to this morning. Actually, the curls are dropping as per usual. I've just brushed it, but yeah, the curls never last very long. But you can see there's sort of apparently we're embracing the grey. That's what Robin tells me. I don't choose what happens to my hair because I have zero idea about what to do. And Robin is amazing, and I really enjoy giving her the complete control over what goes on. I have to say, it looks so glossy and lovely, and I'm loving the colours. So apparently what we're doing is, it was bright orangey, well, it started with pinky red here, orangey yellow was what we had last time. By the time we got there, it was sort of like pinky blonde with pink at the top. So she's taken some of the pink out, and she's basically gone cool over the whole lot because there's now that much grey. So you can't see grey at the moment, but the reality is there's quite a bit of grey coming through now. So she said it's time to embrace it. I don't know how I feel about that. What I do is I currently love the hair that she's given me. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about my hair. But yeah, I thought I'd do some videos. But I have to admit, I'm going to have to do a tidy up with me video at some point as well, because I actually have got zero space on my craft room desk. It's all a bit chaotic. Work has been very busy, and crafting during the week is just not happening at the moment because I'm so tired at the end of the working day. My brain's not working. So I'm going to have to do something about making sure it's at least clear. So even if I feel like I could do it for 10 minutes, I can be creative for 10 minutes and just clear the head, that'd be helpful. But there's literally no space on my desk. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to show you. Okay, I've scooted back. So, yeah, this is the desk. So, yes, obviously, if I moved that die set there and my cup and my glasses, I'd have half a cutting board free before we then start with the rest of it. So, yeah, disaster zone. Oh, I've gone a bit wonky. Well, I'm sure you can cope with me sort of being halfway on the hill. I can't cope with that, actually. That's not true. Sorry, I'm wobbly everywhere. It'll settle. Right, okay. So yeah, before I do any crafting, I'm going to have to do that. But I thought I'd also share with you, see over there, there's a basket just there that's got a few bits on the top of it. It's empty. I have done some decluttering. I've done quite a lot of decluttering actually, not of craft stuff but of other things. So I'm on a bit of a mission at the moment to try and simplify the amount of things that we have that we just never use, and it's pointless having. So so I'm quite pleased with that. So that basket at some point needs to be removed, but I'm just holding on to it just in case, because there is a whole pile of stuff over here that potentially needs to go into the basket, and we just get rid of the big pile, have a basket sitting there, which makes more sense. Or there's a few options. So I'm not getting rid of it because there's nothing wrong with it apart from it's currently empty, and it's currently being used as sort of something to pile stuff on next to my working desk. So yeah, so I think I'm going to do a quick tidy with me. So I'll stick you into fast forward because people like to watch those for some reason. Well, I'm saying for some reason, I like to watch them. I like watching people do tidying up. But I will stick you in fast forward. It probably isn't going to take me long because I always overestimate how much it's going to take to do pieces of work like this, and I think it's going to take me forever. The reality is it's probably 10 minutes. So in fact, I will time myself and see how long it takes. I think the first thing to do though is to dig out my tripod. It's down there. So I'm going to dig out my tripod, stick you on that, and then you can see me whizzing around the room, putting things away, and drinking my coffee. Oh, nice. Yeah. yeah, I'm going to do that first. Okay, enjoy. Six minutes, wasn't even 10. I mean, I'm not saying this is the tidy room now. There's clearly a lot to be sorted, but I have a huge swathe of desk I can actually craft at. I put some bits in the bin and I just put things away. It's so easy if you've got a home for everything. And I even did the thing of, there was a carrier bag with some clothes that I bought last weekend. That's not made it to my bedroom yet. Why has it not made it to my bedroom? That makes no sense. So I did the thing of, take it there now. The one thing that I just did lift and shift is a massive pile of recipe cards, which I do need to sort, but that's a job for using my brain a bit more. Last year's photo calendar, that I want to use some of those photos. I'm not sure exactly how, so I want to cut that apart, and again, that's not a job for right now. Annoyingly, the whole take it there now thing didn't happen with the next one, which is my GCSE results. I think it's my GCSE and A-level results certificates, which are down here because I've had to scan them when I got the new job. Can I just add that new job I started 12 months ago? They've been sitting here on the desk, just keep getting moved around, never quite getting done. I had to scan them and send them in. So they need taking back upstairs because the safe is upstairs and that's where they should belong. So I'm not saying it's a tidy room, but that was super quick to just tidy that desk. Whereas on a work day, if I look at that, I think that's half an hour's work before I can even start to sit down and think about being creative. I'm not going to do it, so I don't do it. So I am going to pop you in the overhead camera, look down. And then I'm going to decide what I want to play with. Oh, so I'm going to do that and I'll show you what I want to show you. Right, bear with. Okay, so there's a couple of bits I left out on my desk. Clearly my glasses, because I need them. Scrap of paper, that's don't really know why I've had left that there, but never mind. Was two new things. So I'm doing no spending in 2023. I won some stamps. Well, I won this stamp set. Never lose your sense of wonder is the sentiment that goes with it. And this gorgeous fairy, and it's massive, absolutely massive, like bigger than my hand. Gorgeous stamp set from Stampanori. UK artist, Erica Palfreyman. Just gorgeous. So maybe that'll be my starting point and just do that. Actually, it's such, the only thing with it is such a big, in fact that probably shows you the image a little bit better. It is such a big stamp that I'm like, I don't really know what to do with it because it's so big. And I think my colouring might not be up to it. So I don't think I will use that today, because what I want to do is go and have a look. She's got obviously her website, stampanori.co.uk /clear-stamps. She also said there's a Facebook group. There we go, facebook.com /Stampanori. So I might go and have a look for some inspiration. Oh, there's a beautiful bookmark as well. Clearly her little characters are so cute. But yeah, I just let's say the best view comes after the hardest climb. So beautiful. Yeah, I entered just a little challenge thing on this UK Stampers forum Facebook group, who I do swaps with. Those that have been following me for a while know I do usually the tag swap. Sometimes I've done inches and ATC coins and ATCs and postcards and all sorts of other stuff. Anyway, I don't often do the monthly challenges that come up, but since been getting a few sponsors in almost, so I suppose this is a sponsorship kind of thing, to say make a card or make something doing this. And I never win competitions, and I won this one. I mean, it's random, as in you're just then drawn out of the pile of the people that have been put in, but what I was absolutely stunned at was the size of the stamp and how beautiful it is. But yeah, I do need to do a bit of thinking about how to use it, and that's probably not going to be fun for people to watch because there'll be lots of umming and ahhing and working out what to do with it. So I'm going to leave that for the moment, but I wanted to show you. And then, as I said, I'm not doing any buying. And then you can see there's a brand new stamp set here. New die set here. The other things I want to share with you is this my little bundle of new stuff. So what the heck? Well, these were all officially bought before Christmas. These were bought using, where's the other part of it? Just having a moment because there should be a stencil that goes with that. Yes, these were all actually bought between Christmas and New Year. When there's those as well as well. Yeah, I had a little bit of a splurge on the Seven Hills. I think it's called Seven Hills Craft Company or something. If you Google Seven Hills, it'll come up with who they are, and they do a lot of imports, so American brands. Stamps, so I tend to buy quite a few bits from them because they're just that little bit more aligned with the styles that I like when I watch other people's YouTubes. So I've been loving people who've got these sort of like layered stencil things. So I bought this butterfly set that's got the coordinating dies, and then this is the stamp set that kind of goes with it. So it's not stamped things to go with those shapes, but it's things that have got like the butterfly trail type writing. It's got little butterflies that you could do as your background or something along those lines. But I've not had a go with these yet. I've used those two stamps, but on just a completely different kind of card. So there's this butterfly, no, boho butterfly is the sweet, I suppose, of things that go together. So I might have a go with them today. Anyway, I bought those. I also bought this Concord and 9th stamp set, which obviously I've used, hence it's in a stamp wallet already rather than in its original packaging, just because I thought there was some really cute, I like these curvy type stamps. And then, hey, they're beautiful, friend. It's just beautiful. And then I really like these cute little butterflies, because I've just looked at butterflies. Rainbows. I thought they were really cute. So those, and then the final bit that I also bought was these lawn fawn heart ones. And originally the plan was this was going to be my Valentine's card. Kind of then forgot I made Vin a different Valentine's card, which obviously I will share on my blog when it comes Valentine's Day, and I've given it to him. But I'd kind of forgotten I'd bought these, because at the not at the same time, but just before Christmas, I also bought, hang on, Tim Holtz die. Let me show you. Where has he gone? Oh, he's disappeared now. Where's he gone? There he is. I think it's called Cozy Winter or something. Yeah, it's called Cozy Winter, this die set, with this cute little bear. Look how beautiful he is. And these are these thinlets. So I die cut him, and I've made him into a card. But look, I've got the little birdie here, the little cardinal bird, already done, ready for a project, but not actually done anything with him. And I also cut out an extra mug. I mean, it's just so cute, but I've no idea what I'm using them on yet, so they're just sitting there. waiting to be used at some point. But yes, so originally that was meant to be my Valentine's card, but I turned this little bear into a Valentine bear instead. But never mind. Obviously the hearts and the sending lots of love will go for lots of different occasions. It doesn't have to be just Valentine's Day. And then this die cuts out that big long one, and then there's a little die that cuts out that little heart. So I think quite a useful set. But that was my little Seven Hills splurge. Then it turns New Year, not meant to be buying anything. The only thing I'm allowed to buy is things like adhesive and cardstock and card blanks and envelopes, those kinds of things. No pattern paper, no stamps, no dies. But I have sold some stash. And then I saw somebody put this up on our little selling group that I'm a member of. And I thought it was so cute. And I was like, oh, I've got rid of a few of my flowers dies, and this would be really cute. Oh, sorry, just to justify that butterfly stuff, I had got rid of a previous butterfly stamp and die set to justify to myself that that was appropriate to buy. But yeah, I spotted it and thought, that's really cute. I really like it. And it's come. I bought it for £5.50 out of the sales of things I'd sold. It's brand new. It's never been opened. That's about £15–20 worth of dies there. So absolute bargain. And strictly speaking, no money left my bank account because it was bought with the sales that were still sitting in my PayPal account. So I think I can justify. Today is the 20th. No, 21st of January. This arrived yesterday though. So I think I can still say I'm on a no spend, can I? I don't know. Have I failed already? What are your thoughts? There's no new money gone out. I spent my earnings of selling stuff on new stash. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get away with that one. Anyway, so they were on my desk still, but I've now shared with you my new stash. So, gosh, this video is turning into a weird one, isn't it? Because it's now been a little chit chat, a tidy with me, and a haul share video all in one go. Hey ho. Right, I'm going to stick all of that to one side. Do you know what I'm going to leave out? I'm going to leave out the butterflies because that's the thing that's drawing me and making me go, play with that, Catherine. So, I'm going to play with that. I don't know what I'm doing. I am literally just going to play and see what happens. So, this layering stencil pack is 2 layers. Two dies, sorry. Language, Catherine, use English. 2 stencils, and there's 2 of them. So one assumes that I'm not really bothered about it being a card front that makes much sense. This is just about playing, and I'll turn it into something. But one assumes that you put it into place. So there are, I don't know if you can see that on the video or not. In fact, let's see, can I zoom you in? Would that help? Whoop. Well, you're getting a lovely reflection there. I don't know about anything else. But can you see the little marking? There you go, the little marking on the side. So I suppose if you line that up every time, there's one on the other side there. I'm going to guess, because there's one on each bit, that's an American sized, you know, A6 card. A quarter of A4 size. I'm going to guess that's what that is. Well, obviously, in the UK, we have different sizes, so I'm not going to bother about that. But I'm thinking if you constantly line those things up, that'll make it easy to tie in to know what size you're doing. Right, let's go with a bit of yellow. So I'm just going to grab a blending brush, and I'm going to go for Daffodil Delight. And we're just going to play, see what happens. So, oh, that's quite cute already. I can see that's really sweet. Now, the white cardstock I'm using is not brilliant, if I'm honest. It's quite flimsy. So I'm not 100% happy with the quality of it at the moment. So I've got quite a lot of it. I'm just going to have to use it up and see. But when you've been used to using your Stampin' Up kind of quality of cardstock, it makes a big difference when you suddenly come to something that's not that great. So you can see I'm just doing those two because I think I'm going to go for a different colour in the middle for the middle butterfly. Now I think you could probably use any kind of blending tool. I happen to be using these ones which were just cheap off Amazon. They weren't they're nothing particularly fancy. Just contemplating colours. I'm thinking we might go kind of pinky. I was originally going to go orange, but I'm now thinking pinky. So I'm going to choose an old Stampin' Up, and as you can hear, I just threw all the rest onto the side. This is a strawberry slush. I think it was in colour at some point, but I'm going to try that one. I'm also trying to, I suppose I've not really told you anything because I've not really been online and talked, have I? So my year of 2023, the intention is no spend, which clearly that's up to some debate at the moment as to how successful I'm being at that. But anyway, that's my plan, is no spend. However, I am also trying to sort out my stash, get rid of stuff that I really don't think I will ever use, or I can't see myself using particularly frequently, and I'll probably have wanted to buy a new version of that kind of thing in the future. So I'm kind of going through things like old inks. Use them because you're not keeping them because they coordinate with anything anymore, which is what Stampin' Up is great because you colour coordinate your cardstock and all that stuff. But when they retire an ink, they then don't use that colour in their DSP. Not that I'm buying any, but they don't use it in their DSP, and they don't use it. I'm just thinking, do we go like that? Oh. Okay, they don't use it in the DSP, they don't sell that cardstock anymore, so in some ways it's just an orange or a yellow or a blue or a pink ink or whatever, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm thinking use those. Look how pretty that is. Okay, keep going, Catherine. So yeah, so I'm trying to use things up, trying to, be honest. Am I going to use this again? Is this something that's going to appear in my must-use things all the time? And the likelihood is probably not. So I'm trying to get rid of stuff, basically. I have that much stash in this room and I just don't use it. So I'm trying to be sensible and get rid of it. So this is Riding Hood Red, which they retired ages ago. I'm just thinking that'll just darken up that tiny little bit. So cute. Probably needs more of the red though, because it's not quite as different, whereas that one was quite different when you added the pattern. Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. Right, my hinge is clearly moved out of place, but they're quite easy to see through these stencils, so you can see what you're doing, you can see what you're adding and where the colour is on the bottom layer, so you know how to line it up. And I think we'll just do that. Again, a tiny bit of this red just to deepen the middle bit. Probably just a bit too much. Oh, that's so pretty, but I think I'm going to have to add the red to that as well. Just a little bit, deepen it. So pretty. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right, I probably should wipe that, but I'm just going to pop it to one side for the moment. Now, let's see how this works. So when I line it up with those top notches, sorry, I'm doing it off camera so that I can see what I'm doing. When I line it up with those top notches, making sure it's straight. Yep. That then puts the top wings in the perfect place. Love it. So I suppose you could at this point go for different colours for the top wings than what you were doing. I think I'm just going to stick to similar-ish colours for this first play. But this is so cute and so therapeutic. Love it. Because you could just build up, perhaps put a little bit of a different colour in, a bit of this, bit of that. Top one. Because actually, see, last time I just went for a solid colour on the bottom, didn't I? I'm thinking I could do already adding a bit of depth to the middle. How about that? That's already super pretty. Look at that, so nice. I'm going to do the same on that bit because do you know what? I like it. Right, these are super pretty. Oh, I love it. So, those that don't know, I obsessively watch Jennifer Maguire. I don't think I've seen her play with this particular set, although I know she does play with Concord and United stuff occasionally. But she loves, I now know why, these, you know, coordinating stencils that you can just colour your images with. I now know why she loves them, because they are amazing. And I think I've fallen in love with them too. So let's go back to this, and we went with a bit of pink on this one. Ooh, now shouldn't have done that. Should have masked that off a little bit better, but you know, you learn. Oh, hang on, I'm going to die cut these. It won't matter. Ignore me. It won't matter. Right. I think we'll go nice deep red on that bit. Look at me. Stop talking because I've got all excited about the colour and the prettiness of this project. Right, I've also got ink all over my fingers, so it's a good job we are die cutting these, because I thought I'd gone over on a few of them. So if you wanted this as a background, you absolutely could though, couldn't you? You just need to be careful with your masking. Now this even, I was going to say, let me have a look at the dies. So we have the outline dies for all three butterflies, but we've also got the bodies. So we could stencil the bodies, or we could just die cut them. And I'm thinking, just die cut them, Catherine, because that makes much more sense. And then the antennae are a stamp here. You've also got other butterflies, and then you've got this cute little, looks a little bit like a postage stamp, but not exactly, but a little panel here, and that will fit perfectly some of these little sentiments. A little hello, a little thinking of you, a little love you. So cute. But yeah, they're really cute butterflies too. But I think we're just going to die cut these out, and then we're going to have a think about how we make it into a card. But I think I'm going to die cut the centres rather than stencil them in place. Now I can also see that I just got it slightly off kilter. You see how that's just slightly off kilter to how it should be. The bottom one's perfect, but that one's off kilter. So it's something to be mindful of, is that I need to think about how I line them up and make sure that I'm concentrating properly. Which, to be fair, I have neither put my glasses on, so I can't see detail. And I would have realised that if I'd have been colouring them in with pens or whatever, but I haven't put my glasses on, so I can't see properly. And also, obviously, I'm talking to you and thinking about that. So we're going to die cut these now. Gosh, I'm sorry, this video is already, I can tell, going to be a long video. I'm waffling a bit, and there's obviously 3,000 things that have happened since I switched on the video. I think we're going to have to use some tape to just keep this into its space that it's meant to be lined up. That's rubbish washi tape. That didn't stick to anything. It's, in fact, do you know what? I'll chuck it in the bin, Catherine, because there's no point in keeping things that don't actually work. There we go, that'll do. Perfect. And then the next one. And the last one. So even though I'd not lined it up perfectly, do you know what? It was very much close enough to work with the dies. So I'm going to go and die cut, which means I'll just pop you on pause. Right. So I die cut the gorgeous butterflies. Aren't they adorable? What I should realise, I've just realised I should have done was also do the centres. But because, as I said earlier, this is really flimsy card, and because actually it's something that Jennifer Maguire does and I absolutely love it too, is adding the dimension. So even though you've die cut it, it's actually die cut it a few more times and then stack it up. So stick these three together, stick my coloured version on top, and now it's become a really sturdy kind of die cut. So I'm going to do that. So I die cut all of them another 3 times. And it's scrap, so this is the bit that you remember it got like a little bit of ink on it on the sides. It really doesn't matter because no one's going to see it because it's sandwiched in the middle of this. And then this is your top of your card embellishment, and the same for those. So all I do is usually glue those together. I use an Pritt stick or a liquid glue or whatever, and then put something heavy on it and it'll dry, and it'll be a nice solid sturdy piece. But what I've realised I've not done is die cut my centres of my actual butterflies, my little bodies of my butterflies. So these ones here. So I'm just thinking, what colour do I want my butterfly bodies to be? Or do I just want to colour them? But I'm thinking I probably want them to be black. So I have my little box of scraps. So this box, little pouch of scraps, these are little offcuts and bits and pieces. I've just spotted, however, that sort of plum cake. No, I think I want black. You know what? I don't need anything as big as that though. I just need something tiny. Right. So I have my little scraps. I just shove everything in here and then I use that for die cutting. And when it gets a bit full, which is a bit full at the moment, I'll have a big die cutting session with loads of things. Stick all the ready-made die cuts into a pouch, and then they're there ready for future projects. So bear with me whilst I go off and die cut my little bodies. So this black card is quite the opposite to the white, as in it's quite a chunky and sturdy card. So I'm not sure if I'm going to need to stack those or not. So we shall see. So I think I'm going to go for my liquid glue to glue all these together. And I literally, you don't need much glue, but you need enough to make sure that they stick. And then spread it all over. And then with a liquid glue, you get a little bit of wriggle time, you see. So you can nudge it into shape and make sure that it's all lined up beautifully before then adding next lot of glue. And sometimes I try to make sure that I go quite close to the edge, but I don't want it to be too gloopy because otherwise it'll gloop out of the edges. So I don't want that to happen. But again, just gives you that little bit of wriggle room to make sure it's all nice and lined up. Now, with a shape like this, it's quite nice and easy to do that. It becomes a little bit more fiddly if you're using smaller dies. So, for example, I've got the Playful Alphabets die from Stampin' Up, which I've since retired. But alphabet dies, they can be a little bit more fiddly to stack up, but I still do it. So, for example, this Y here, probably need to move it further away so you can see. That's a couple thick, so it becomes a little bit chunkier on a card. Let's just think, what else have I got? So actually the cup is a good few die cuts thick. I think you can probably just about see that. So I tried to do this quite often because I really like the sturdier look of the die cuts, and they sort of become more like chipboard shapes. So yeah, I like doing this. So I'm just sticking together the bodies, and as you can see, it's a little, because it's so much smaller, it's a little bit more fiddly. I mean, it lines up beautifully, but you usually end up with a little bit of the glue coming through. Yeah, I did contemplate leaving these as single layers, but I decided against it. And often with butterflies, because of the antennae, they can be really fiddly and they don't always cut brilliantly and all the rest of it. I know this has got the stamp for the antennae, but whether I'll ever even end up using it or not, I'm not quite sure, because sometimes it's easier to draw them in or to just do without, because no one's really going to complain about the fact that there's antennae missing off them. It is, after all, an artistic impression. It is not an actual butterfly. So always with these fiddly pieces, sometimes it's a bit difficult to see which is your top and which is your bottom. You know how it sort of curves off with a die where it's cut it. Trying to remember to keep it so it's the correct side up. And now I'm just going to glue these in place. And the temptation was to put it on the body, but then I'm not entirely sure how well they line up. I think they might be all right, actually. Yeah, they line up quite well, but sometimes you can put too much glue on and again it sort of gloops out, and as much as it'll dry clear, I just don't want the potential for it to splurge too much, because I also don't want it to disrupt that ink with it being a water-based ink. A dye-based ink, so it's water-based, so it means it will react with water, and I don't particularly want it to do that, because sometimes that can disrupt the inking that you've done. I mean, it's usually all right and it dries quite quickly, but I just don't want it to have any further movement in the colour. I'm so pleased with how those stencils work, though. I can understand why Jennifer Maguire likes working with them so much. So I think the hint with this is actually to kind of line up with the top, and I've not done a brilliant job on that on all of them, but I think that's probably what you're meant to do, is line up with the top, because the bottom probably hangs off, and it should be the bottom that hangs off and not the top, but I don't think it matters. I'm sure everyone, again, can forgive me if my anatomy of a butterfly isn't perfect. And now I've got this beautiful, beautiful, sturdy embellishment butterflies, and I know I can do this in any colour that I want using those stencils, which is just amazing. So now I need to have a think about what I want to do and how to turn these into a card. Do I want them to be a flurry of butterflies, a row of butterflies? Do I just want to use one on multiple cards? My coffee is going cold, so I'm going to pause, drink my coffee, have a little think, and I'll come back to you. Okay, had a little bit of a think. Not completely finished my coffee, but hang on, swig of that. Nice. So I have got, again, this is me sort of trying to be sensible when things are created. Just put them in a pouch, ready to use next time you sit down. A little pile of backgrounds, and actually all of these were created when my daughter did a bit of a photo shoot. She's doing A-level photography, and she was doing still life, and she was doing all my art supplies as her subject matter. So some of these were created during that, including a massive amount of spray background for various reasons. So I thought, well, it's only on copier paper. It's quite a good quality copier paper, but it is only on copier paper. You know what? I'm going to cut them up. You never know, might get to use them. I've used quite a few of them already. As you can see, I've still got a stash left. I will no doubt find other ways of using them. So I grabbed some of those and thought, aha, this one, I know it's got blue as the main focal point in there, but if I pop a little bit, and again, these are from my scraps pile, of this orange, the blue is absolutely fine, but we can create our little butterflies going down. And then I was thinking, right, how do we make the background something different? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to stamp these little traily ones in the background, see what happens. If I don't like it, it really doesn't matter. This is a piece of copier paper that was being used for a completely different purpose. I'm going to bin if I don't like it. So I thought I was ready to come back to you and show you what I'm doing. And as I say, these are just scrap pieces of cardstock from another project. So I'm going to stick that to one side, and I'm just going to do a little bit of random stamping. I've said random, and I kind of need to know which way up it goes. Don't want the wording upside down, I don't think. Now, how much do I want this in the background, and how much do I want it in the foreground? Because I could bring the pink in more by doing it in pink. Do I do it in black? No, I don't want it in black, I don't think. Right, I'm going to try the pink. Again, if I don't like it, start again. Use a different piece of that spray background, come up with a different idea. For those of you who don't know, this is pretty much the way I create most of the time, as in completely randomly. No, I really like that, that's cute. It is completely randomly. I do not really plan ahead so much. Occasionally I do. And I did mention it on my last video. The thing that I use when I do the planning ahead is my Sketch Mayhem book, which the lovely Martin from Martin's Mayhem, he has designed, and I love it. But actually, it's not a go-to tool for me to do all the planning in advance. I'm not that kind of crafter. I craft because I need to just chill my head out a bit, not for any other reason. So you can see here I'm sort of going off the paper, just making sure I've got stuff all around. I think that there's perhaps a little gap there, so we'll just go for there. I think that's enough. But yeah, I go off the paper just so that it's random. And that is now super cute, but I think I want it to be a slimmer, I want it to fit inside this panel. So we'll have white border on the card, blank. I think that's what I want. So this is around about 3 1/4. So I think I need to cut it down, teensy bit off this side. And then we need to cut it down to 3 inches. And then that fits perfectly in there with a little border. And then we're going to pull this down there. Potentially we've made it too small. No, I think we're all right. And then we'll think about a sentiment on the top. Okay, so yes, so I do use my Sketch Mayhem, but only if I'm really doing a planning session, and that tends to be what I do for design team work or bigger challenges, etc. I think it needs to be slightly shorter. Let's just take a little bit off either end. That just also firms up any dodgier fluffy edges, because my big trimmers all need their blades replacing. So we're going to do it by eye, not by measurement, and we're going to go like that and hope that that probably fits there. And then this one, again, I'm going to do it by eye, and I reckon it's about there. But yeah, so if I'm doing my design team stuff, I do try to plan that a little bit more, if I'm honest. But everything else, no, it's just pretty much how it comes out is how it comes out. I really like that as a panel, and then I'm thinking we need a sentiment on it. I don't think I want to use the big thanks so much. I think we'll come up with a different sentiment. I think what I'm also going to do is do something with this orange panel. I might not leave it plain. Right, first things first, I am however going to stick this down. So my talking, as usual, is all over the place, as it always is when I create live, because my brain's going into the creating mode, not into the thinking about what I'm saying mode. I unfortunately left the lid off my Pritt stick, so the top end had all dried out. So I've just used my craft knife to slice off a section. Oops. You know that thing where you go, how have I managed to take that out and then I can't get it back in? It's called leave it until another time, Catherine, not whilst you're on a video. Okay, so yeah, I just chopped this, slice the top bit off, and hopefully this is now sticky. I like using Pritt stick at the moment a lot for not wrinkling the paper as much as a wet glue would. And unless you leave the lid off the Pritt stick like I've done, it lasts a wee bit longer than tape, so it costs a little bit less. Now, as you can see, I did that by eye to get it to be the right width, and it's just slightly wider on one end. So all I'm going to do is slide it in there and evened it up a little bit. I think a teensy bit off the top, and this side. I don't think it needs any at the bottom. There we go. That's my way of making a panel look like it was perfectly sized when all I've done is just made it up. So, I'm wondering, do I want to raise it on a bit of foam to give it dimension? I think I do. So again, the way I do giving things dimension, rather than using lots of dimensional foam tabs or something along those lines, is I literally use children's fun foam. I have sheets of it, and it's just so much easier to get a nice piece of foam that fits directly under it, and it means that it doesn't sag and it doesn't squish at any point. So I think that that's a better way of doing it when you're doing these larger areas. I do still have foam tabs and I still use them occasionally. The other thing is that this is not as thick as using some of those foam tabs. I have really messed up this Pritt stick by leaving the lid off. Yeah, I'll move that to one side. Get a new Pritt stick, Catherine. It's just quicker and easier when you're doing a video. There we go, it's not as gloopy now. But yeah, I just find that so much better for adding dimension. It's not as thick as the foam tabs, because foam tabs sometimes can just be that a little bit too dimensional. And I'm all about dimension normally, but I just find that sometimes that's a little bit too much. Whereas the foam is that little bit thinner, and it just, for me, works. Now I want that over to the right hand side, and yeah, I decided against embossing it or anything else. Now thinking, how do I want these placed? I want to place them like so. And I think this time we'll use glue, wet glue, because it's a nice sturdy piece, so it's not going to bend or bobble up. And I do want them so that they're over to the side, but I want their bodies to be nice and lined up. Because, you know, sometimes we just want them to be in a line. I know you can use things like rulers to make things in a line, but I do it by eye and hope for the best. Are we happy with that? I think so. So I'm just going to go and once again stick my acrylic block on it to let it dry a little. Now you'll see I hadn't stamped my little antennae. I think I'm going to draw them in if I'm going to wear them at all. Now my card blank. Let's go and grab something to make a card blank. So I have grabbed some craft cardstock. Do I want craft? I don't think I do. Okay. Had a little bit of a think. I think we're going to go with the black. So when I've cut this into a card blank, you'll have a border at either side. I think that's what we're going to go with. So this is just a piece of A4 cardstock that I've folded in half. And we're going to make a top folding note card by just cutting it then at 10.5 centimetres. This will then sit on the top like so. And then I'll need to cut a panel for inside to make sure that I can write on the card. And that's then, I think, going to be our finished card with a sentiment. So, next step, go find a sentiment. Okay, I think we're going to go for the long form set and go for sending lots of love, but then cut it up into little pieces. I think we're just going to go with black. But I might stamp it in the pink as well, just in case, and we'll see what that looks like. I'm not bothered about getting it straight on the actual piece of paper, the cardstock that I've got out, because I'm going to be cutting it out anyway. Let's see, sending lots of love. Or do we want to be black? Just go straight in with my trusty Versamark. I think we want blank. I just think sometimes for the sentiment we want something a bit bolder, just to make sure that it's easy to read, etc. I have now got, you know how at the beginning of this video I tidied up? Genuinely, I've got hardly any desk space left again. I am not a tidy crafter at all. Apparently I also have no paper wipes left. And I've been shopping today. Never mind. Right, where's the stamp cleaner? Had this for years. Stamping up, I don't think they even sell them anymore. Stamping Scrubs. Why can I not open it? Because I was trying to open it the wrong way. So you have a side that you're supposed to spray on. which again, they don't do it anymore, but it's called Stamping Mist, which I've had for years as well. But it smells quite pleasant, I like it. And it cleans and conditions. So one side is like your wet side and the other side is your drying side. And I should use it more often because it's better for the environment than using baby wipes. But you can't clean your hands on it because, believe me, I have tried. I just don't know why I'm trying to put those back in the packet because they need sorting, putting away. Right. So, it's not the perfect trim of this, but it's a good way. You can line it up and then turn it around, line it up the other side, and I'm choosing to line it up with a sort of ridge I can see, but I know it doesn't come through on video, and that's the way I try to line it up so that we got a nice even space on top and bottom of the letters. Now, I mean, I could banner it, but no, I think I can always stamp it again if I don't like what I've done. I think we're going to go with our snips and just go for little ones. And I'm now thinking I have not cut that well enough for this technique. And that I needed to cut it closer to the words because they're all a bit thick. Right, by hand it is, and I know that this is not the best way of doing it, but again, this is quite flimsy cardstock and it probably will shift around in the trimmer and we'll end up with some fluffier edges. So I think this is the best way to do it right now. And I think I need to decide whether I want to edge them or not. I think they do need a border, don't they? Right, out from the scraps again. And we will stick them all down and then cut them from the black. And again, doesn't matter if it's not straight because I'm going to be cutting them out by hand. Just need them adhered. There we go. And I am going to put my glasses on because I'm conscious of the fact that I was squinting then. This might help me see it properly. That's better. My eyesight's not horrific or anything. I've only recently needed glasses for close-up work, sort of in the last year. It's started to get to the point where it's like, I can't. So I absolutely can't do colouring in without my glasses. But I can't look at anything further away with my glasses on. So, like, if I was to look at the shelving unit that all my supplies are on, with my glasses on there, it'll be a bit fuzzy. So it's kind of like I'd need bifocals or whatever, but I've got no prescription in the rest of it, and it's only for really close-up work that I need them. So yeah, I'm not brilliant at remembering to put them on because I just don't use them often enough. But sometimes when you're out at a restaurant and you need to read a menu, yeah, that's a problem because it feels like the writing has got smaller and smaller on things. So I have to have a pair in my handbag and I have to have a pair on the craft desk. But for work, for example, using the computer screen, I have a different pair of glasses entirely, which is my old prescription. And that's just for days where I feel really tired and I've got a bit of eye strain. kind of headache, which is not every day, even though I'm on the computer every day, but sometimes that really can help. Just does something to balance it out. I don't know, it's a bit odd really. I'm not entirely sure I understand how it all works. I think this is just a teensy bit long for my card base, so I'm just going to shave just a fraction off the top and the bottom, which hopefully will be enough for it to not quite too long. Perfect. Okay, I am going to stick this down. So this is this bit done, and we are almost at the point of just adding any embellishments we might want to add. I think I'm going to balance it not in the middle, but just on the towards the side. That works well. Yeah, that works well. Right, I think we're going to need liquid glue for these. Wondering whether I should have put a little bit of foam. You can see how the glue seeped through a little. Let's just put that down on it and hope that it just is enough to stick it. It does grab quite well, this glue. It's not too bad, but yeah, with it being a few layers of the cardstock thick, it's not quite the right height. That's fine. There we go. And then the final one. I think I will just take a teensy bit of card just to, if I am bolstering up, I need to put it on that end of the love. Just gives me that little bit more height. Perfect. And then let's think about embellishments. I use these quite often. I'm thinking I'm going to use another avalanche. I don't think I've got many left. No, I've not got many left, but it will be enough to do this card. And then I think that's the end of my black blobs. Oh no, there's some more. Okay, just a few more. Can't get them out of the tin. Oh, I managed to get one out of my tin, and it stuck to my finger, so I can go straight onto there. There we go. So I think that's it. Oh, one there, bigger one. Right. Well, we might as well use the big one because hey ho. And we'll use another big one here, and then we'll have a little one here and another little one over here. That'll do. Okay, and I love those black gems. I have used them an awful lot. Right, I have a piece of cardstock that I am, again, it's this flimsy stuff, but it works fine, and it's perfect for an inside of a card. So we're just going to cut it down a little bit. sitting there, and I have a little bit of that card left, that paper left. So we'll stick that inside too. Perfect. See, it all comes together eventually. Sometimes it just takes a bit more thinking. And you have been treated to a very long craft along with Catherine video where I rambled a bit about random stuff. And I tidied my desk that I've now made a big mess again, but as we learned at the beginning of the session, it takes minutes to tidy it up, not hours, like in my head I think it's going to take. So I'm not going to treat you to that at the end of the video, but I am going to do it before I think about my next crafting project. And I'm really happy with this. Perfect for the inside of the card. Really funky outside of the card. And I love those butterflies. They are so cute. Do I need to add antennae? Do I want to stamp them? Do I want to just go, no, I'm just going to draw them, or am I going to leave them as they are? I think I'm going to leave them as they are. Don't think I'm going to do that. But aren't those beautiful? And those stencils, I can see me having lots of fun with those. I quite like that really bold sentiment stuff as well. And the cute have a delightful day in the background. Using it, that's one of those spray backgrounds. Jobs are good in. So let's turn it round. Okay, turn it round now. Yeah, I've got massive glare on my glasses. Let's turn it off. So, card done. Thank you so much if you've managed to persevere all the way to the end of this video. I imagine this is going to be a nightmare for me to edit, so goodness knows when I'm going to get round to doing that. But I am about to tidy the desk. Learn your lesson, Catherine. It only takes a few minutes, and that will make it so much more appealing to craft when you've got an empty desk, rather than going, oh, I've got to tidy up before I even start, which is how it is most days. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn from that lesson, but I'm also going to learn, actually, do you know what? Can I also just say, I'm very close up. Bear with me. I can't work out how to not be close up. I'm a recent convert to an iPhone. I think I still prefer my Samsung, but hey ho. Yeah, so apologies you see me in all of my close-up glory there. Still loving that. Okay, I'm gonna stop preening. I'm getting tired. Don't know why I'm so tired. It's not like it's late in the day. As you can see, it's light outside, and it's the 21st of January, so you know, it's 4:15. It's not late. I just need to power through. Right, I'm going to tidy up. Thank you for persevering, including all of the waffles and all of the nonsense that I yabber through. I will hopefully get this edited and posted on YouTube fairly quickly, and then I can blog my card. Please subscribe. I'll try. Do you know what? I've promised too many times that I'm going to make more videos, and then I don't get around to doing it because, you know, it's not my full-time job. I have a full-time job that's already more than full-time. So, yeah, I'll try and do some more. And as I have nothing specific planned, I can't tell you when it will be back. So you're probably better subscribing, putting the notification bell on and all the rest of it. Please leave me a little comment below, say hi, put a thumbs up if you liked it, put your thumbs down if you didn't. Just don't be nasty in the comments because there's just no need for that. And I delete anything that people put that's horrible or rude because it's just horrible and rude and nonsense and no need for it. If you don't enjoy it, don't leave me a comment. Just put a thumbs down, that's fine. But anyway, enough waffling. I'm going to say goodbye. Until next time, this has been Catherine from Inky Finger Cat. Goodbye.